Good. Excuse me for being a little bit late today, but I went to sleep really late last night, so I have a lot of other excuses also. But there we are. So, excellent. Okay. We're beginning a new Torah portion today. Vayetze. And we see Yaakov Avinu, Yaakov, the founder of Judaism. He's going to establish a family and build the Jewish people. And his mother's sending him also to get away from Esav. Esav wants to kill him. He just stole the blessings from Esav. So Yaakov left this place called Beersheba, which is a beautiful place for blessings. And he leaves and he goes to a terrible place called Haran, which is outside of Israel. But he doesn't make it. He's just on his way. And he lays down to sleep. And he has this incredible vision. This is going to be the beginning of the Jewish people. So here we go. Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheba. And Yaakov left a place which is called Beersheba. Vayelech Haran, and he went in the direction of Haran. Rashi, Vayetze Yaakov, Yaakov went out, but he went to, that he saw that the Ra'ot B'nai Canaan, because Yitzchak said that the daughters of Canaan, that's where they were living, were no good. So he went, Yaakov left, and also Esav also left. Esav, he went to Ishmael. Remember the end of last week's Torah portion. And he said he went down and he got married to a Yehudit. And that was a little bit of an interruption. And now it goes back to the original topic, which was after Esav left and etc. Then it comes back to the first thing. But Yetze, namely what? That Rivka said, you better run away, go to the house of my brother and hide out over there. And also, you can find yourself a wife there. Why does he say he went to Haran, in the direction of Haran? Why did he have to went out? He just sort of said that Yaakov went to Haran. What do you mean he went out? Vayetze Yaakov, he left Beersheba and he went to Haran. I mean, obviously, if he went to Haran, he left Beersheba. That's where he was at. So why does the Torah have to tell us? So obviously, God wants to tell us something over here. The man, not only was it where he was going to, but also where he left from. When a tzaddik leaves a place, like Yaakov, when a righteous person leaves a place, it makes a big effect. The time was when a righteous person is there, the tzaddik, the righteous person, he's the glory of the place. He's the light of the place. He's the splendor. As soon as the tzaddik goes away, as the glory, the light and the splendor leave. And that's what he went. The same thing it says by Nami and Ruth. So he went to this place called Haran. He went out of Yaakov. Yaakov went out of Beersheba. And why did he go out? In order to reach this place called Haran. The HaChaim HaKadosh says, why didn't it talk about all this in the previous Torah portion? But maybe let's go back to the previous Torah portion so we'll see what's going on over here. Let's go. The end of last week's Torah portion. Let's spin a little bit here. Here we're going to the last one. Here we're going to the end of last week's Torah portion. Okay, Yitzchak is now blind. Remember we learned last week? And Yaakov steals the blessing from him. He tricks Yitzchak to giving him the blessing that he thought he was going to give to Esav. And Yitzchak finally agrees with it, and he says yes. So as soon as Esav saw, that Yitzchak, that his father blessed Yaakov, and he sent him to Padan Aram. So he said, and he heard Yitzchak say, don't take a daughter from the daughters of Canaan. So Yaakov listened to what his father said, and he left the Padan. He went to Padan Aram. And Esav, when Esav heard that the daughters of Canaan were not good, so Esav went to Yishmael and he got married. He married Machalat, not Yehudit, I'm sorry, Machalat, the daughter of Yishmael, and the daughter of Neviot, and he took that to be his wife. So we see that Esav left, and he went to. Now, before that, right before that, after after Yitzchak stole the blessing from his brother, so Rivka, his mother, said, listen, you better run away because your brother Esav wants to kill you. Esav, your brother, mitnachen l'chol hargacha. Esav wants to kill you. This is what Rivka said. So she said, listen to what I say. Run to my brother Lavan, and until your brother, and when Rivka says, run to my brother Lavan, until your brother Esav calms down. Then you can come. And then Rivka says, I don't like the daughters of this, the place where we're living. Don't take a daughter from here. And Yaakov says, I don't want you to take one of the daughters of Canaan. And so Esav runs also, and he leaves. He also doesn't take a daughter from Canaan because he wants to pretend that he's still righteous, you understand? Good. And that's where we start this week's Torah portion. Good. Yes. Now we're going back. Let's go back. Here we go. Okay. So Yaakov left. He left Beersheba. He's going to Haran. Vayivka b'makom, and before he went, he met this place. He happened to this place. But he reached this place. Which place is this? Of course, you have to reach some place. You're always reaching some place, right? So he reached this place, and he laid down there. What do you mean he laid down there? He laid down. He came to a place and he laid down. What do you mean he laid there? Obviously, if he came to a certain place and he laid down. What do you mean he laid down there? It says it means that he laid down here, but 14 years previously, he didn't lay down one night because he was learning the Torah. We'll see. And because the sun was setting. And he took from the stones of the place, he put them around his head, and he laid down in that place. He already said he laid down to sleep, he laid down. All right, we'll see what's going on. What's happening? Rashi says, Vayivka b'makom. It doesn't say which place it was, but really this is a place which is written somewhere else. And what is the place? The place where Abraham saw from far away. This was Har Moriah. This was the mountain where the Holy Temple was going to be built. First temple, second temple. third temple will be built there. This is the place where Abraham took his son to sacrifice him. Like it says, V'yiram makom rachok. Vayiv God says, what does it mean? What does it mean? Is Rabbi saying what they mean? It's prayer. Vayiv God b'makom. That he prayed in that place. This tells you, Shetikon Tefilat Arvis, that says that Yaakov prayed when the sun was setting. This is the evening prayer. It says that Abraham established the morning prayer, Yitzchak the afternoon prayer, and Yaakov the evening prayer. Why doesn't it say Vayit Palel? It should say they prayed. What's wrong with saying the word pray? Why do we have to say that he met up with this place Vayiv Gaba Makom? Lamedcha, to teach you Shekafza Lo Haaretz, that the whole entire world folded up under him. Like we're going to learn later on. That the whole world, he had a goal to come to, and the whole world jumped to him. Like it's going to be explained in Perek Nashi, we'll see what this means. The sun came, it should have said, Vayavo Hashemesh, and he went there. Yavo Hashemesh, it means that the sun was setting suddenly. Why suddenly? In order that he would sleep there. He thought he had a long time to go. The sun was still not near the horizon. Suddenly the sun set. And so it said he took these stones and he put them, Mirashotav, around his head, like a sort of a pillow. He says, no, it wasn't really a pillow. It was like a fence around his head. Saviv Rosho, Shiura Mipnei Chayos Ros. He was worried for the wild animals, bad animals. Itchil Mariva, and then the stones started fighting, one with the other. Each one said, the stones. Each stone said, I want Yaakov to put his head on me. And this one said, no, I wanted to put it on me. So God made it one stone. That's what it means. He took the stone which was under his head. And he lay down in that place. Lashon mute. He lay down in that place. He did lay down. But the previous 14 years that he was in Beis Aver, he didn't sleep. He was working at Torah. So what happens over here? His mother sent him to go to Haran, but he didn't go immediately. He didn't go. Instead, on the way, he decided he had to learn Torah. He learned Torah for 14 years, and then he set off on his way. And we're going to see later on that he was punished a little bit because of this, and namely that Yosef was taken from him. Yosef, of course, was Yaakov's son, his youngest, his second to youngest son. And therefore he was taken from him for such a long time. We'll see. He said, Vayivgav Makom, this hints at Vayishkav Makom, like it says, Shekafetz, Shekipel, or it's talked of that the whole world, the whole land of Israel folded up under him. That's why it says Vayishkav Makom Hahu. What does it mean? He lay down on that whole place. Kulo Shechavbo. He lay down on the whole land of Israel. That's what he says. We're going to see later on. Rashi also is going to say the same thing later on. Vayachalom. So he lay down and he had a dream. He said there was a ladder standing on the ground, and the top of it was going into the heavens, up and up, higher and higher into the heavens, heavenward. So there was the ladder was standing earthward. In other words, it went down under the earth infinitely, and it went up to the heavens. And we say this is the ladder of prayer that he saw, coming to teach you that one prayer can shoot you from the lowest of levels to the highest of levels. Just one prayer. You can go out of any situation you are. And behold, there were angels going up and going down. Now, usually angels don't do that. Angels come from heaven, right? So they should have said that the angels are coming down first. Angels come from heaven, and then they were going up. So Rashi, of course, feels this, and he says the angels were going up first. And then afterwards, they were coming down. There were angels that accompanied him in the land of Israel going out. Those angels went out to the land of Israel, and they left him. They went up to heaven. And all of a sudden came new angels from heaven. They sort of made a pit stop as he was going out, and these new angels came down from heaven, and they accompanied him. What does he need angels for? So he needs angels because angels it's godly power that protects a person. Basically, God is protecting him, but he does it through angels. It's like when you lift up something, you don't lift it up with your will, you lift it up with your hand. The angels are like God's hand, so to speak. So it says by Yaakov, Hine, behold, he went to sleep, and Hine, behold, a ladder was standing on the ground, the head was, and behold, what does it mean, and behold? Vayachalom, and he had a dream that there was a ladder. The word Hine is extra. So, of course, the HaChaim says that certainly nothing is extra in the Torah. The reason it says Hine is because usually dreams are not accurate. Dreams, in fact, are most of the time inaccurate. Chalamot shavahim. Dreams are a lot to do with our interpretation of things and our thoughts that we had in the course of the day. And even if God does send us messages, but they come through this filter of our mind, so everything gets all confused. And for sure, every dream, even if they're accurate, they have a lot of chaff. Therefore, by Yaakov, it says, behold, Hine, to show that this dream that he had was exactly accurate. What he saw was really there. Hine means like behold. It's like something you see in the daytime. This is not similar to any other dreams that a person sees. Therefore, it's very, very careful that every detail in the dream is very exact. That's why he says, and it says again, this ladder, because seeing these angels, this means that he saw them exactly. Also, when it says when God is standing over Hine Hashem, it says again that God, the intention is that it was a pure prophecy and he saw pure truth. And behold, God is standing on, and God said, Abram, and he said, I am the God of Abraham, your father, your grandfather, and the hand of Yitzchak. The land that you're laying on, I'm going to give you and for your children. Rashi, of course, says you're laying on it. He says what the HaChaim said before, that God folded up the whole land of Israel and put it underneath Yaakov. And there's also hints that it's going to be easy to conquer it for your children. When they leave Egypt and come in, it's going to be easy for them to conquer it. It would have been a lot easier if they hadn't refused in the days of the spies, but it says that God was standing on him. This hints to what it says about Yaakov, that the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they are vessels, they are vehicles for God. Because God, so to speak, is the fourth foot of the chariot. So therefore it says that he was standing on him more than Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because that was the main thing of the throne. The throne, according to some opinions, is that King David is the fourth. But the main thing is that it says clearly here that Yaakov was a vessel for godliness. Therefore, God was able, so to speak, to stand. His revelation was able to stand and be revealed in the world through Yaakov. We talked about this before, just like a television program is revealed through the television. You have to have the television program is everywhere, and but you can't see it unless you have a proper vehicle. The same thing, God is everywhere. You can't see or feel God unless you have the proper vehicle, and that vehicle is total surrender to the creator of the universe. And that's exactly what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had. This is explained in very great length in the Tanya. God continues, behold, God, this is all part of the dream, right? But it was it was a vision. God says, your seed will be the dirt of the earth. You will spread out west, east, north, and south. Chabad took this song very, very literally. And there will be blessed in you all the families of the world, and also through you and through your seed, your offspring. What does it mean? It says that we find that in Aram, that when they came there, that the place becomes blessed. And we see that also in the world, even though the Jews also can be, pretty, how do you say, debauched, they can get pretty nasty if they leave the Torah of mitzvahs. But generally speaking, Jews improve every place where they are. Usually, the Jews make the place dynamic. Where they are. Maybe they don't make it as godly and proper and moral as they should, especially if they aren't moral. But in any case, usually Jews benefit the places where they are at. Right? This is where they're Jews. And because they benefit and they succeed, so everybody hates them and they're jealous of them. But okay, that's what it is. And you see that all the time that the holy temple will be existed. So there was a bracha in all of the nations of the world through the Jews, that the Jews would sacrifice 70 oxes every holiday of Sukkot. They would sacrifice, and this would bring blessing to all of the nations of the world. So that's what it means that Jewish people will be a blessing. Now here he says a very beautiful thing, and we don't have time to go through it, but I would like to. We'll see maybe next time. The HaChaim explains that this, in a derech remez, he says, that Yaakov going out of Haran and going to Beersheba and meeting this place, they're coming to the place and praying, this is the journey of the soul being born. That Yaakov, the soul, Yaakov, that's the soul, the godly soul, and it comes from Beersheba, which is the place, which is where he's given an oath. That's how the Tanya starts off. Beersheba. This is the oath that God gives the soul. There should be a tzaddik. And he goes to Haran, which means he comes down into the terrible place of this world, into the body. And therefore, when he comes down here, so a person should, you have to pray to God. A person always has to pray that the body and the Haran shouldn't, the evil impulse shouldn't conquer him. And when the sun is setting, says that if the sun is setting, that if a person is having trouble defeating his evil impulse, you should think about the day he's dying. You're not going to be here forever. And it says, and he takes from the place. Okay, he explains it in very great details. And in Chassidut also, they make a big explanation that our job, this is what we learn in the Chassidut class in the morning, how it is that we take from the world, which is made from the letters of God, which are compared to stones in this book called Sefer Yetzirah, and we take these stones, namely the creation, which was made by God's stones, by God's words and letters, and we take these letters and we elevate them. We make from the division of the world the diversity, a unity. Okay. Behold, I am going to, says God says, I'm going to be with you everywhere that you go, and I will return you to this land, to the Holy Land, because I'm never going to leave you until I have done everything I told you. I am with you. Because why did God have to say this? Because Yaakov was afraid of Esav and from Lavan. Esav was Yaakov's brother, and Lavan was his uncle. Until I've done, im means that keep. Here it doesn't mean until that if. It means that I will do. I will do. What does it mean I will do? For whatever you need. I promised Abraham that his seed, I promised you also that his seed would be this, and I promised that to you I will promise, but not to Esav. I didn't say, except I told Abraham that Yitzchak is going to be his offspring, because Abraham thought, listen, I have a son called Yishmael, maybe. But Yitzchak, not all of Yitzchak. It says, be Yitzchak, in Yitzchak will be. So in other words, God gave a promise to Abraham that Abraham would be the chosen people and his children, but not all of his children. Not all of his children, only Yitzchak. And Yitzchak's children, they would carry it out, and not all of Yitzchak's children, only one, only Yaakov. Yaakov woke from his sleep and he said, whoa, God is over here, and I didn't know. What does it mean I didn't know? Rashi says, if I would have known, I wouldn't have been able to go to sleep. If this is a holy place, like going to sleep in the holy temple. It says, God is here. This is, no doubt, says the Sforno, this is a place that's prepared for prophecy. Because I saw a vision like this, and I didn't make any preparation whatsoever. It must be the place that's holy. And that was the holy temple, same thing as the holy temple. That's what the rabbis say, the land of the atmosphere of Israel makes you wise, because Yaakov was supposed to leave Israel, but he didn't. He just got up to this place, which was the holy temple, Jerusalem. Explains, Rashi had a big explanation over here, which I skipped over, about where exactly was this. I'm sorry. Where was this ladder? How the ladder was? Maybe I didn't get to it. Right. This is the ladder. See, he says this ladder was the base of it was in Beersheba, and the middle of it, and that's where Yaakov was where the holy temple was, and the base El was on the top of it. Then there's another explanation also where exactly this ladder was, but let's just continue for today. Okay, here we go. So Yaakov, he wakes up and he took the stone that he put under his head. Now it was only one stone, and he made it into a monument, and he poured oil on top of it. Sforno said that he made it holy, that it should be a place where it would be there when he came back. Of course, this is eventually going to be, so he's the holy temple. He says, if God will only be with me, he said, if God will be with me, and he's, sorry, one second. And he was afraid, and he said, this is the place, this is the gate of heaven, right? And he woke up in the morning and he said, took the stone and he put oil on top of it, and he called the name of the place Beit El, the house of God, but Luz used to be the name of the place originally. And he made a vow, and he said, if God will be with me and he will protect me, that I'm going, and he'll give me food to eat and garments to wear, then, and bring me back to my the house of my father, and will be for me Elohim, and God will be for me for a protector, then this stone which I made for a monument will become a house of God. And everything that God gives me, I'll give 1/10 of it to the Holy Temple. That is today. Let's see what this means. Here we go. He called this place Beit El, and he made a vow. He said, if God will be with me, says Rashi, if God will protect me, and he'll keep the promises that he made to me. He said that he would be with me. Like he said, V'hine anochi imach, I'm with you. And if he protects me in everywhere that I go, and he gives me what to eat, like it says, Lo azavcha, a person who wants bread, he is called that he has been abandoned. Like it says, Lo riti tzarek ne'ezav uvakesh lachem. So in other words, he'll provide food for me. I will return back to the house of my fathers. Shavti means God said to me, God said to me, I'll bring you back to this land in peace. What does it mean, peace? Peace means from sin, that I won't do any sins, that I won't learn from Lavan. Now, Lavan was very successful, tremendously successful. You usually go to a place where people are successful, you want to copy them a little bit. At least make some sort of tricks, not get more involved. So I hope I don't learn from that I still trust God. And God will be for me, for Elohim, that God's name will be on me from the beginning to the end. That we won't find anything wrong with any of my children. He hasn't had the children yet. This is the promise that he made to Avram, like it says, that I will be for you for a God. So in other words, he didn't want to have any foreign gods. Now, interesting enough, it says, Sikha from the Rebbe, that he took these stones and he put them around his head. Why did he put them around his head? So the Rashi, the Rebbe says that when you go into the world, there's something you have to remember. First thing you do when you go into the world, you're leaving the place of holiness, you're leaving the place of learning, the places of prayer, and you want to get involved in the world. What's the first thing you have to do? So most people say, what do you mean with the first thing you have to do? You have to learn, you're going into the world, you have to learn some sort of a job. You have to get some sort of training, learn the language, dress nicely, dress properly, learn how to deal with people. The Rebbe said, that's true. That's good stuff, but that's not the first thing. The first thing you do before you start any endeavor, no matter what it is, and here this endeavor is Yaakov is going to find a wife. Says the first thing you have to do is you have to pray. Number one, you have to pray. That's what it is. Vayivka b'makom, that he prayed. First thing. Then after that, it says that he took these stones and put them around his head. Means that you have to watch your head. You have to watch your thoughts. You have to watch where your head is at. You have to keep your head always connected to the God that you just finished praying to. And remember that God is the one that he directs everything. You have to work. You have to be in the world. But that's only what you have to do as much as is necessary to succeed, and not to fool yourself and sink your head and your soul into your work. Your head and your soul have to be sunk into the creator of the universe, thinking about it. Because a person can get tremendously successful, and he's got, let's say, a person can have the means, but he doesn't have the meaning. A person can be tremendously successful, but he doesn't know who he himself is. So that's what Yaakov was beginning. Yaakov was beginning the Jewish people to get into the world and take God into the world, as we'll learn, God willing, more tomorrow.